Okay, in this video clip we are going to have a look at making a turret style game. Now this one is a little bit trickier, so if you're not considering yourself to be proficient at Scratch, I probably wouldn't try this one. Reason being is when we're dealing with bullets, you've actually got to deal with cloned objects, and you'll see that they work just a little bit differently in Scratch to everything else that you're probably used to. But let's just dive straight in. So what we need to do is we need to have our cat, and let's get rid of our cat, and we're going to need to have something that's going to work as a gun, our turret. So for this, you know what, that drum kit might work quite well. A glass of water might work as well, actually. Let's see if we got anything else there. Notice how I'm just reusing an object. So I might go, that drum kind of works because I can put it down here, and there we go, and it kind of looks like we could use it as some form of turret. And I'm going to shrink it down in size because small is always good. There we go. See, you don't even notice it's a drum kit anymore. It just looks like some guns down there at the bottom. Let's pick some space background. Oh, that one there. I like that. Okay, and maybe... Actually, that looks good. Okay, now we're going to need some form of bullets. Actually, I reckon I'm going to go a side-on game instead. So let's turn it 180 degrees. Okay, and actually no. Let's keep it 90. It looks better this way. Haven't made one up and down before, but that's fine. We'll make it work. Okay, and we'll put it to 0 there, so it's right smack in the middle. Okay, now we're going to need a bullet. So again, we'll use the ball for a bullet, just like we used it as a item in the last game, the fish game. This time it's a bullet. So how big do we want the bullet to be? Yeah, a little too big. Let's go 30. 30 is good. Okay. So we've got basically our turret, we've got our bullets, so now let's get into our programming. So just like always, we start with our green flag, and we start with our repeat until. We need to set up our variable is finished, and set is finished to 0, and now we're just going to simply check is finished to 1. So now it's going to keep looping over and over again until we set is finished to 1. Okay, and I can see up here that I've got it visible there, so I'm going to mark it as invisible because we don't need to see that. Okay, so now we need to actually have this drum kit simply follow wherever we look. So to do that, we just point towards mouse pointer. But now we've got a bit of a problem because you can actually see that it's not pointing towards me, it's actually 90 degrees off. So when I'm pointing up, it's pointing 270 degrees. When I'm pointing 90 degrees, it's pointing 0. So it's always 90 off, and the reason being is it's actually to do with the frame itself. So if I come in here, it's the fact that we need to rotate this drum kit 90 degrees. Now, I don't know if we can actually do that. Maybe we can. Oh, do we have it? Here we go. We've got to rotate. We can do it in here. There we go. So now, when we come back, oh, did I save that? Yes, I did. Okay. So now when I play that, now it's pointing in the right spot. There we go. Okay. And now the bullet's going to work a little bit differently. So we'll change that to bullet. We'll relabel it so it makes a little bit more sense. Because with the event, if I drag in this one here, well, we are going to need to start with this one because we're going to need to just delete that bullet or just tuck it out of the way. But every time I click now, I'm going to create a clone of that bullet. Okay, and so what I actually want to do is deal with the clone. And that's down here. When I start as a clone, what do I want to do? So now we've got a different starting point. Okay. Actually, what we'll do is we'll tuck the bullet in here. In there. And we'll put him. And we'll make him invisible. So we're just going to hide him there. So there we go. So now when it starts, we see he's there, but he's just invisible. Okay, so now, first thing we need to do is create a bullet. So if, inside here, if left mouse button is down, what do we want to do? Okay, and now we're going to create a clone of myself. Oh, wait a second, we don't want it in there. Otherwise that's going to create a clone of the drum. We want it here. So we want to have that same loop. Oh, wrong one, that one there. Okay, here we go. If left mouse button is down, now I want to create a clone of myself. There we go. We could have done it the other way around there, but that's fine. Okay, so now every time I click, I'm creating a clone of the bullet. And now the first thing I need to do is, I think it's actually coming up as hidden. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. It was there. It was just hidden. So now it's creating a clone of itself. And now we want to shoot it forward. So we want to set it in the direction of the mouse. So point towards mouse when it starts. And then we want to loop forever because we just want to go until it's out of the screen. And move forward 10. So here we go. Oh, and we're seeing when I hold it down, it's spraying. And when it's hitting the top of the screen, so we're going to need to have some way of destroying them when they get there. But that's starting to work. Oh, and we've hit the maximum number of objects we can have. So now we're going to need if we need the compare statement. Oh, okay, so if the ball's Y position is less than 1, we want to destroy the clone. So here we go. Oh, that's right, Scratch works inverted. So it's actually, if it's greater than 180. Okay, so we just need to flick that one round. So we don't want that. We want that one there. So if Y is greater than 179. Now let's give that a try. Okay, I obviously deleted something there. Oh, it's because I moved the... I think I must have moved the ball. Wonder how I get that back. Ah, here we go. If I change that to 0, 0, show, there we go. There we go. So now it's back. Okay, and now some are deleting, some aren't. So maybe what we need to do is just set it to 170. There we go. So now they're all just deleting just before they get to the edge. That works quite well. Okay, and now we go, well, wait a second. Do we really want it to be shooting that quickly? So now we can put in a wait. Okay, and I'm going to put in 0.1 and let's see. So there we go. So that's the fastest that we can actually get it to shoot. And maybe I want to slow that down a little bit more. That's a little too slow. I think I like the 0.1. Okay. There we go. So now it's shooting there. So now what we need to do is we need to create an enemy. Now you can see that it's a lot more complicated when it comes to cloning. And now we've got to do the same with an enemy. So let's go ahead and create an enemy. And what do we got? We got space bats. We can use space robots, rockets. You know what, just for a bit of fun, Space Frankensteins, there we go. Okay, and let's reduce him down, too small. There we go, 30. And now again, we want to clone him. So, this time though, we want to have him set to pick any location across here before he clones. And then they're going to be coming down. So, here we go. So, here's how we do it. We start on, oh, deleted him, didn't want to do that. Where is he again? There he is. Okay, so we start by making him that same loop that everyone else has got. Is finished, set to 1. So now his program will go until the game finishes. Okay, and now we just have him pick a location randomly, set X to a random number between, now if you look here, the furthest we want him to go is here, minus 207. Between minus 207, and the furthest we want him to go is about here, which is 211. So now, he's going to dot all over the place, and we won't see that. But for now, we do want to see it. Because now, we've got that going, and now we're going to set up another one. And the reason why we're setting up another one is if we put in, I suppose we can put the weight in there, it doesn't matter. So let's put the weight in. Every second we want to create a Frankenstein. So we want to create a clone of myself. Okay, and now what do we want to do when the clone starts? So when the clone starts, we want him to, well, fall back down. We want him to drop down to the planet. So when I start a clone of myself, I want to forever motion. Now this time I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I don't want to move him, like turn him and move him. Otherwise he'll look a bit weird. This time what I want to do is actually just, I'm going to use the Y coordinate just to drop him down myself manually. So set Y to, and now I'm going to use the plus. So actually minus it will be. So minus. So set the minus. So now I'm going to say, where's his Y? Up here. Minus, okay, and let's go 3. So it means what he's going to do is he's always going to say, where is his Y position? Well, he's here right now. Well, now subtract 3 off, so now he's here. Then it loops around, subtract 3 off, now he's here, now he's here, now he's here, and he's always working his way down. So if we look here, we'll play that, and we can see, there we go. So now he's actually dropping Frankenstein's down to the planet. And they're going way too slow. I don't know, maybe what we want to do is we want to make a speed there. So let's go, actually no, we'll leave that for now. We can change that, but let's speed him up a little bit. And let's go maybe 7. And I don't think I like him as big. Let's shrink him down a little bit, and let's try that. There we go. So now he's starting to look a bit better. Okay, so now we can tuck him all the way up here, and we can simply just hide him at the beginning and show him there. So now, there we go. So now we've got our Frankensteins dropping down. Okay, and now if you notice he's only dropping on one side of the screen, so I think I've made a mistake there. So we might have to go and have a look at that. We'll just see if he, okay, so he never seems to appear on the other side. So let's have a quick look. Oh, because here he's only going to 11, where we wanted him to go to, let's just show him, to 211 it was. There we go. So now let's give him a go. There we go. So now he's fixed. So now he's dropping down. Okay, so now we've got 2 things we need to do. Number 1 is when he's hit by a bullet, we want him to die. Number 2, we want him to, kill us. And we might even add a score of lives there, okay, when he hits the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. So first thing we need to do is we need to add our if statement in here. So if Frankenstein collides with a bullet. Well, that one's nice and simple. We want to destroy him. So, down here, delete him. However, before we do that, we do want to have a score. Okay, and our score, we want to start our game with our score being 0. And we want to add 1 to our score there. There we go. So, and we want to show the score. So now, oh, and we want to destroy that bullet too, because we don't want the bullet passing all the way through. That just really wouldn't be fair. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So now we need to destroy the bullet clone as well. So the way I'm going to do that is I can't just delete the clone from here, so I'm going to need to broadcast. So I'm going to broadcast a message, okay, and I'm going to call it destroy bullet. And now on my bullet, oh, that's where I'm still looking at the bullet there, aren't I? Here's where I want it. Destroy bullet. Okay, and now over here I want to receive that. When I receive destroy bullet, I want to delete this clone. Oh, I don't think that's going to work. That's not going to work because that's going to destroy all the clones at that point that receive that, because they'll all receive that. So that's okay. That's the way it works. So what we do is we get rid of that. We put that there. And the simple solution is we simply just do the same statement over here. So if the bullet touches Frank, we want to delete this clone. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I don't know why that one's not working. That's a little bit weird. So I will delete that and I will make an amendment to the video clip at this point, just so I can keep going on what Scratch is doing there. But that's okay. So we've got most of the game happening. Oh, there we go. We've got that problem again. Come on, back you go. Sometimes Scratch can get a little bit fiddly with things like that. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so let's continue on. So we've got that there. Now, what we want to do is we want to have, the game end. So we need to have some lives. So let's make a new variable and we call it lives. And at the beginning of the game, I'm going to set my lives to, let's say 5. And now, if Frankenstein gets down here level with the drums. So if Frankenstein's Y coordinate, let's have a look at where the drums is. We can see it at 186. So we'll say 180. If Frankenstein's Y position is at 180. What do we do? Okay, well now we need to subtract a life, minus 1 life, and we need to delete the clone. There we go. So have a look. We got lives. Oh, and its clone's not in there. It's just deleting straight away. There we go. So let's see it go through. Okay, and they're not deleting, so let's have a quick look why. Because 180 is too big. And it's less than as well. It should be less than about 160. Okay, that's fine. So we just need to pull that out. And change that one up. So less than about minus 160. And let's give that another try. Boom, there we go, and that's working. Okay, next thing we need to do now is we need to just put our endgame state in. So, where am I? Drum kit. Okay, so now we've got if lives is equal to. Now, as a general rule, I don't use equal to, because what happens is, what if two creatures were to hit at exactly the same time on the same frame, and then it skips over 0, life skips over 0 and goes to -1. If we're looking for lives is equal to 0, well, now it's equal to -1 and the game will never end. So instead, it's better putting in less than 1, because that includes 1 or 0, but then it includes -1, -2, -3. So it's a bit of an error check as we go. And let's put in lives there. And now set the finish state to 1. Okay, here we go. Let's give it a go. So we've got our 5 lives. Okay. Not doing too badly here. Oh, and there we go. Oh, and the game has finished up, but it actually did take a little bit before it finished up, but that's okay. So the game has finished now. So at -2. So, and that's the thing, sometimes Scratch is a little bit fiddly with things like that, but that's working now. So if we give it another go, it's done it again, hasn't it? There we go. Okay, and let's see if this time it finishes on 0 or whether we... Okay, it's finishing on -2 again, so let's just have a look at that. If lives is less than 1, okay, doesn't make sense why, but let's just go ahead and change that. Let's give it a go and see what it does. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I know. The game has finished. It's just those two were already falling. So that code is actually working fine. So what you could do is you could go through and, because they were going to continue falling basically no matter what, because we've got that in a forever. So if we pull that out and we put in the same repeat until, and one, there we go. Now they'll just finish where they are. Okay, so I worked out what the problem is. The problem was just I forgot to do one little thing over here. This lives here. I had it just sitting there. So it was saying was nothing less than 1. Well, nothing gets replaced with a 0. So it was just finishing the program automatically. Because is 0 less than 1? Yes. So it became true and the program finished. So let's just put the lives back in there. Okay, look, the last thing I actually wanted to say too is that you can actually see here how, again, we've got the repeat loop here, and we see the repeat loop happening in multiple spots throughout. But just remember, anything above the repeat loop is actually happening at the beginning of the game, and anything at the end of the repeat loop here is what happens at the end of the game when the game finishes. So you could actually build a whole animation sequence here, or a whole animation sequence here to finish up. So, you can make your game really, styled, and quite a good quality game. So please don't just treat this code as, copy and paste each block in, and you've got yourself a game. Go through, style it up, theme it, make it your own, and put in some amazing graphics and some amazing detail and animations and things before and afterwards as well. Well, I hope you enjoy making this one, and definitely make sure you use these video clips as a guide.